Good morning, everybody. Just thought I'd welcome you back to day 2 of my return to living in a van. We are currently at the Melbourne Causeway, which is at the end of US 192. It is this causeway right here, which connects the mainland of Florida to the Barrier Islands. And we are watching the sunrise over the clouds from this vantage point. About 30 minutes or so ago, I was actually out here preparing to film the sunrise and had a really cool manatee encounter. I was taking pictures of the causeway and the sky and the clouds and showing how pretty it is, and heard a whooshing sound, and then suddenly saw the manatees appear. If you haven't checked out that video, be sure to do so. As you can see, the sun is coming up and it looks to be beautiful. I really should put this on a tripod. I guess we live and learn, right? Beautiful. Let me take some pictures. Alright, as you can see, the sun is coming up. It's almost fully up now. It is coming out from behind the clouds. And ushering in the dawn of a new day. Fantastic. Here's what the rest of the area looks like. We are standing at the Banana River, I think, and we are at US 192 watching the sunrise. And that's the Melbourne Causeway right there. Beautiful. As you can see, I'm currently at the shower here at the end of 192, US 192 at Melbourne Beach, in the Atlantic, and Melbourne Beach. And there's beach showers all over the place around here. So this go round, because I couldn't afford a gym membership, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of this free shower here this morning. I'll take a shower and then continue on with the vlog and talk about what happened last night. And how I ended up back here on the beach versus being in the wilds, you know, that place that I had gone to do the initial test. And it's an interesting story, so stay tuned. Hi everybody, just wanted to let you know what's going on, update you on what's happening right now. You can see that I've got little blue all opened up and stuff, and I'll explain to you what's going on. Basically, it is now day 2. I had a really rough night. Well, it was a great night until the zombie attack, and I'll tell you about that here in a moment. But where we are right now, we're over at Pelican. It's Pelican Beach Park over there. As you can see, it's in Satellite Beach, and I had come here from Indian Atlantic Beach, where I was this morning, and I went there to take a shower, and then thought I would come here to use the picnic facilities over there. See that? The picnic facilities at Pelican Beach have 120 volt power access. The problem with it is today they're turned off. So that's okay though, because Little Blue has its own cooking system. Remember our inverter and our rice cooker and whatnot? But you'll notice that right now, it's actually being run directly to our backup underhood inverter. Remember we had installed this 350 watt inverter as a fail-safe, a backup system? Well, it turns out that my battery fixed. Remember my house battery was just an old 12 volt automotive starter battery, and it was like failing. Well, it's pretty much failed, or I mean mostly failed. I can still use it to run the fans all night so that I can stay cool. But as far as cooking, as soon as I turn on the inverter and try to draw 300 watts from it, it starts beeping. Now I can cook with it beeping, but it means that the charge is dropping low, and it may cut off, cooking before my food's done. So rather than use that system that may not work that well or may cut out in the middle of cooking food, I went ahead and hooked up my extension cord, which normally I would use to connect to shore power, so that little blue could have shore power. But I went ahead and hooked it up to the underhood inverter, the 350 watt, which is just powerful enough to run our rice cooker. So I'm getting ready to make some rice right now to have breakfast or brunch here on the beach. You can see it's on cook right now, and it's drawing about 310 watts. So once the rice cooks, I'm planning on cooking some sausages and eggs to have with the rice, and that'll be my breakfast for today. So let me talk about last night. I don't know if you recall, but last night I had tried to park over at the area I call the Outlands. It's like the development for Palm Bay that they abandoned, and it's overgrown and now kind of a wilderness within the city. And during my initial test of camping out there about a week or two ago, the park ranger came by and the police came by just to check up on me and make sure I wasn't doing anything bad. And they had also told me that there were some other people who were living out there. Well, it turned out last night when I was at my spot that I thought was totally secured and safe and hidden, that one of those people, if you can call him that, lives out there. He actually didn't behave like a person. What happened was I had set up the camp, cleaned up the area, and was trying to make the place nice, doing guerrilla planting of some food items so that people could have it if they came by. And then I built a bonfire, well, a campfire rather, and I was just totally enjoying myself out there. It was almost a full moon. It was beautiful. There were stars out, and the moon was almost full, and I had the fire there, my little chair, and I was chilling and having a great time. Then at about probably about 10:30, about 11 o'clock, I decided to call it a night and get ready for bed, and started to put the fire out. And throughout the whole night, I had heard like weird sounds, like animals and stuff, and just really weird, scary sounds. And then I kept hearing the sound. It was that strange, weird chanting. I was like, man, it almost sounds like a voice. It sounds almost like somebody talking, but it was like mumbling gibberish. And I was like, I don't know. It sounded kind of like, if you guys watch The Walking Dead, like that. That's what it kind of sounded like. And I was like, what the hell? It sounds like there's a zombie. And I was like, your mind's just playing tricks. You're freaking out. So stop freaking out. So then I continued to clean up and stuff, and then I heard the voice, and it was definitely not an animal. It was somebody talking to somebody or something, and they were heading towards my camp. They were coming down the road around the bend to the cul-de-sac where I was set up. So I shined my light out that way, and to let them know that I heard them and stuff, and see if they would identify who they were, but they didn't. Yet I have heard them, continue to walk towards me, and I was like, shit, somebody's coming at me. This could be bad. This could be really, really bad. It could be a park ranger, it could be a cop, but if it was a park ranger or a cop, they'd probably be in a vehicle, and they'd have their lights on just to let me know who they are. This was somebody kind of like struggling to even walk. They were like, kind of like a zombie. And so I like said, shit. And I quickly stopped what I was doing with the fire and ran into my van. Got inside the van, shut all the doors, locked everything up, and then I heard that guy or thing approach. And it came up to my camp and actually tried to get in. He walked over and he went over to my rear, this side here. He went over to my rear window and started jiggling at it, trying to get in. And then he tried to walk towards the front to get in, and then hit his head on the canopy that I had set up. And he like fumbled, and he couldn't get through the canopy. And I peeked out through like the rear. You can see the mess here. You can see my computer and stuff. But I managed to peek out there, and I saw the shape of a human. Except he wasn't like walking like a normal person. He's kind of staggering and stuff, like a zombie. But truthfully, I don't think it was a zombie. I think it was one of the other homeless people that were out there that the police and the ranger had warned me about, and he was drunk. He must have taken a walk at night and saw the fire of my camp and decided to come over. But he wasn't behaving rationally. He was like moving around, like staggering like a zombie. They walk on Walking Dead, like dragging their feet. That's how he was moving. And when I had shined the light at him and stuff, he didn't say anything. And when he came to my camp, he didn't say anything. He just tried to get in. So I was inside, and it was like totally dark, and I could see him outside. I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna be? Am I gonna be like Rick? Am I gonna come out with guns blazing and blow this guy's head off? Or am I gonna be like Michonne and pick up my machete and chop his head off? And then so I waited, and I heard him fumble with the window. He couldn't get it to open. Then he hit his head and bumped, and I was like, oh man, got to figure out if I'm gonna be Rick or if I'm gonna be Michonne. And then just like that, he stopped and he turned around and walked off. I heard him like, straggling off. I was like, shit, that was close. And, this isn't my first time living in a van, so I've had some other weird encounters, but this has been the strangest one, especially since, I don't know if you're following on Facebook and stuff like that, but in Florida, I think just the other day, they found somebody eating somebody's face. He killed them, or they were dead or something. He was eating their face. And they had that in Miami, I think a few years back. So I'm in Florida, and you don't know what these people are on or how they are. So, and the guy was acting kind of weird. I think he was just drunk. But he went ahead and left, and I was like, well, I listened and I couldn't hear anything, and I'd heard him straggle off, and then after about like 5 minutes, I was like, well, there's a chance that he could be going back to his camp. I had heard somebody hammering like a spike or something earlier that day, which you'll see in a previous video that I'll be uploading before this one, and I had ignored it. I had thought it was like another camp somewhere, and it was somebody sane, so I just ignored it. But when he approached my camp and was trying to get into my vehicle, I was like, okay, this is not a safe spot at all. So it's going to be time to evacuate. So I slowly opened my door and looked around, didn't see him, had my light, shined it. It looked like he was gone, although I think he was walking. Unless he had a bicycle, but I think he was walking. It looked like he was straggling and stuff, and not, at least he didn't ride his bike right up to my camp. But I quickly took down my canopy and packed everything up, threw it into the vehicle last night, and left. I went ahead and left the water catchment system there because, I had room for it. I could have thrown it in here, but I was leaving it there anyway, so if anyone uses that camping spot, or even him, the zombie guy, if he needed water, he could use that system to catch water, so I just left it out there for him. I pretty much left with everything and ended up at the old standby of Walmart. So I showed up at Walmart last night at like 12:30 a.m. and was using it as a place to reset, just because I was so exhausted. It'd been a very long day, and I was at Walmart up until about 1:30. Fell asleep, and then woke up at about probably, let's say, about 4:30, 5 o'clock. It was about 4:30 a.m. So I only slept for like 2 or 3 hours last night. So if I look like shit, that's why. So basically, I got up from Walmart, and I was like, well, I don't want to wake up and have morning be Walmart. So I went ahead and went in the store, picked up some more supplies, basically soda and some ice. I had to restock my refrigerator there because ice had melted. I have that big canister that I put the ice in to keep the refrigerator chilled. So I picked up a bag of ice and some soda, chilled the soda, walked around for about 30 minutes in Walmart, used the restroom, and came out and said, well, you know what? I'm gonna, the first day I had a sunrise on the beach and some work in the library, and then some a really nice evening with the campfire. So my second day, I don't want it to be, oh, and now we're back to Walmart. So I left Walmart and decided to go to the Melbourne Causeway, which I've been to before in a previous test with my other camper van, Hannah, the Pontiac, Montana. So I went over there to try to catch a sunrise and thought it would be cool to get a video showing the sunrise on Melbourne Beach. I mean, not Melbourne Beach, the Melbourne Causeway. And basically, while I was there, I had my regular camera and was taking pictures. I took some pictures of the little pier. I was like, hey, I'm a photographer, and normally I do glamour photography. I shoot like glamour models and stuff. But, being in this van and traveling, I might be able to shoot some glamour models, if I make contact along the way. But most of the time, I think I'm going to be shooting landscapes and wildlife. So this morning I was doing that. I was practicing shooting, the scene, basically the pier, the bridge, and the sunrise, and I wanted to make that video. Well, while I was out there filming the video, as you saw in the other video of the manatees, I kid you not, they came up to me. I was like just out there, and they came right up. They were like within 5 feet away from me. There was like, I'm gonna guess about like 5 to 7 of them. And they just came up, waved at me. I was like, whoa, this is way cool. And I got the whole video, so make sure you catch that video if you haven't seen it already. And went ahead and got the sunrise there. And since then, I've gone to Indian Atlantic, which is the beach where we began our vlog. And there, if you ever make it this way, it's at the end of US 192. And on your right, you're going to find a Wendy's. There's a shower there, a free shower that you can use. And actually, I think the one on the right had warm water. It would alternate between warm and cold. So it had warm water, so I took a quick shower this morning over there, perfectly free. The city worker saw me. They didn't say anything because I didn't look like I was homeless. I didn't look like I was hanging out there. They don't like loitering. So I was there, in and out real quick. I was out of there in about 15, 20 minutes, had my shower, uploaded